Where to start? I'll tell you where to start. The weather. Last night I looked on the app on my phone, and it just said that, like, the umbrella top-down look at the day. 4 degrees warmer than today, so I thought, oh brilliant, tomorrow's going to be lovely. Today was nice, tomorrow will be lovely. And then when I woke up it said 2 degrees. I looked out the window where my car is, because that's where I keep it, and it looked like it was covered in ice. But then when I went out, it wasn't actually ice, it was frost, but the stuff that you can remove with one finger. So it wasn't too bad. And the sun's out, which is why I'm wearing sunglasses. I'm not wearing them to look cool, because obviously I can't, no matter what I do. And my future's not that bright that I need to wear shades. But it's a lovely morning, bloody bright. But schoolboy error. Don't just look at the overall headline when it comes to weather, especially when you have to get up in the morning to take someone to somewhere at a specific time, and there's also temporary traffic lights, so you don't know how quickly you're going to get there. Take all this into consideration. Lesson learned, silly boy. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, that was it. Good morning. Yeah, I've been watching, there's a channel that I quite like actually, Joshua Morrison. His channel is Johnny Mozzer. He's a film director making a film called Johnny Mozzer's Lessons in Confidence. And he looks like my dad in the 1980s, 70s, 80s. Tall, lanky, massive hair, moustache. My dad. But I like his style, I like his attitude on life. But I was watching a video of his that was on last night. I don't know how long it's been on there, to be honest. Where he goes on about, he rambles on camera about anything that's in his mind. I love it. Very similar to what I do on here, only he's a bit more culturally savvy than me. But he was talking about how his channel has become a sort of, I don't know, pseudo-psychological philosophy kind of channel, which he didn't mean for it to happen. He just wanted it to be a stream of consciousness and to get some things out of his head. And I completely get that. He shouldn't worry about it. He was talking about money. How can you stay pure when money's involved? Once your channel's monetized and he's getting good views, so he's getting a few quid coming in. How do you keep it so it's actually pure and artistically pure as well, I suppose, isn't it? You're not just chasing algorithms, looking for the money. The way to look at it, I think, the way I do, it's just what's in your head. It's not about money. If you get any extra money, or you get monetized, or people look at it and think, I like his attitude, I like his way of life, the way he looks at things, then brilliant. And if they don't, it doesn't really matter. It's about getting things out of your system. Otherwise, if you leave it too long, they tend to fester. You overthink things. So I sort of know where he's coming from. Once you see a couple of quid coming in, I mean, I haven't really on this channel, I've had one payment so far. Once you see money coming in and it's regular, the temptation must be to just try and constantly chase that cash. That takes away from what your actual message is. But I don't think he needs to worry, because he does come across as being genuine. He reminds me of a couple of lads I went to school with, who reminded me of me. That's why we all ended up mates. We had the same outlook on life. And I think audiences, YouTube audiences, your little community and what have you, are smart enough to realise when you are being genuine, when you're chasing money, or when you're somewhere halfway in between. They're not stupid enough to think that it always has to be 100% artistically driven and pure. Can't be. There has to be a little bit of pandering to what is going to work, without going completely, all of a sudden turning into a different channel. That's what I hate when I see channels that I like, who just completely flip to try and constantly chase money. And if it's your job and you are doing it for a living, you're doing it to pay your mortgage, then fair enough, but you do lose a little bit of that integrity. And people, I suppose, are quite happy with that, if they're upfront about it. For me, it never worked that way, because I've got a full-time job. Unless all of a sudden a million views started dropping in for every video, your mind could get changed at that point. But I've worked in our place for 21 years, got a good pension, something I can rely on. You can't rely on views all the time. I wonder how many of these big YouTubers have actually got a pension scheme, or have put money somewhere where they can get at it in later life. Hopefully quite a few of them. They must be smarter than I am. Hence the big bucks coming in the first place. Yeah, but it got me thinking, is this what this channel is? Is it just sort of, I don't know, mini vlogs, stream of consciousness? This is what's going through my head this morning, I need to get out of my system. Or is it becoming too pseudo-philosophical? He thinks he knows it all. Because it's not meant to be that way, it's meant to just be, this is on my mind, if I don't get rid of it, it will sit there and eat away at me. Plus, sharing my stories, sharing my thoughts, might trigger something in someone else, get them thinking, make them realise they're not the only ones. Become a kindred spirit, like Joshua Morrison is to me. Looks like my dad and reminds me of Ed and Neil, my two mates that I went to school with. Mad, isn't it? That makes me also realise that this is where some of the connections can come from when it comes to likes of YouTube or social media. Not necessarily where you think they're coming from. Doesn't have to be he supports the same football team as me, or she's into the same music as me, or anything like that. It can just be your attitude towards life, your own personal philosophy or your own personal thoughts. Quite like that. And I've no doubt it's not just, I mean, he's fairly British, I would have thought. If you watch, comes across as British. But I think that works anywhere in the world. Your atmosphere, your attitude rather, and the way you think about things transcends where you come from. Even though we can fall victim to I don't know, that cultural stereotype of the news, where you are. Which we're seeing all around the world at the moment with American politics especially. We've got quite a few American friends, and I wouldn't say any of them resemble what Trump and the Republicans are doing at the moment. Not by word, action or deed. They've got more in common with the way I look at life. But the pressure is constantly on. If you put Fox News on or GB News over here for 5 minutes, the same kind of message keeps getting thrown at you. Hate foreigners, hate everyone else, be selfish. It's not a way to be. Not a way to be at all. And I hate that thing, the sort of the American education system, calling people commies, not knowing the difference between communism and socialism. I mean, come on. Our friends over there, if you've seen someone fall over in the street, you wouldn't just walk past them. You'd go over and help them up. That's all socialism is, at its core. And if it wouldn't work, then why are the CIA getting involved in elections all around Central Europe and South America? Central Europe, Central America and South America. It's because if it was seen to work there, then the American public might look at it and think, ooh, this is a good system, this will work better than capitalism, which is eating our faces. You know what I mean? But despite the fact that their country, and I suppose our country is pretty similar as well, in as much as we've had Tory rule for most of my life, and then even when we haven't, the Labour governments have been Tory governments in all but name, which is a really, really selfish way of being. But the UK for me is very left-leaning in the way it is, the way it acts. We, even when times are tough, we tend to make a lot of money for children in need and things like that. We tend to be very socially active when it comes to looking after each other. And yet we're believing, or some people are believing the lies. Don't hate people. Don't hate because they've got different coloured skin. Don't hate because they're from a different country. Don't hate because they've got a different religion. If we all looked after each other, there wouldn't be any issue. But then you need that, don't you? You need that chain of hatred to keep things going in their favour. Gary Stevenson, one of his latest videos, was talking about that. Foster hatred. Because it suits their agenda. It doesn't suit our agenda as a people of the world. And I will go back to Crocodile Dundee with the greatest bit of philosophy in history. About wars. People fighting over countries on the earth is like two fleas fighting over who owns the dog. It's a stupid line, it's a throwaway line, but it's actually very profound when you think about it. Think about it really hard until your brain hurts. It's right. The earth was here billions of years before we were. It'll be here billions of years after we're here. We're here for a short time, and instead of enjoying the beauty of nature, the beauty of the earth, the beauty of the gift of life that we've been given, what do? Have wars, hate your neighbour. If you took someone's skin off them, please don't. You wouldn't be able to tell what religion they are, what colour they wear, nothing. Just people, aren't we? People wrapped in different suits. Basically what I'm trying to say is be sound to each other. Just be sound. Yep. That's about it. You know what's coming next. See,